So then, good morning, everyone. To divide the session into two parts. First part, focusing the mind. And the second part, based on the text, Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And today, then, I'll focus on this verse. It's verse 58, chapter 5. And just to read that now. By thinking again and again that after a long time I've obtained the supreme leisures, thus I should hold my mind as utterly unshakable as Mount Meru. And so then to start the session, bring the mind into the present moment. And if we're able to do this well, then it's good for conditioning our mind for the main body of the meditation, and in turn for the teaching we received today, and discussion group and tutorial. And to try to apply effort into keeping the mind focused. When you engage in this practice, if you've got your own practice, then to do that. If not, the practice of observing sensation of the air coming in through the nostrils and passing out, and as best as possible to maintain the awareness of the sensation coming in and out, while at the same time having this alertness, vigilance, as the distractions arise. And so if we're able to motivate, well, just to put motivation at this first part into the idea of applying ourselves to this simple practice, but not necessarily easy practice, of bringing the mind back to the breath. And so then just to continue like this for the first part of the session. And so now just coming to meditation on the verse, the second part of the meditation. And to recite that verse is verse 58, by thinking again and again that after a long time I've obtained the supreme leisures, thus I should hold my mind as utterly unshakable as Mount Meru. And so here, it's referring to our fortunate human life situation. And implied in this is that we should use our human life, which is extremely rare to have, in accordance with the Bodhisattva, to live our life, a life based on morality. And so this life of, we say, if we have got the perfect human rebirth with the 8 freedoms, the 10 endowments, that's something for us to reflect on, to see if we have those 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. And then to reflect on the causes of obtaining this, that it's not by accident we now have the conditions which allow us the freedom to be able to practice Dharma and to attend these teachings on the Bodhisattva's way of life. And we can see, even without going specifically into the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, but the fact that we are at this point of time free of extreme states of physical and mental suffering that are experienced in the lower realms. States of extreme torment in which it would be near impossible to be able to practice the Dharma. States in which we experience extreme levels of fear, and torment, and anger. And then states of existence where the predominant thing, there's no space in the mind, there's no sense of the mind ever being separated from insatiable desire. So you don't know any other way of happiness but through desire energy. And even in the human realm, there are beings like this. The only way they know happiness is the happiness that comes from pleasure of the senses. And no sense of the happiness that arises from inner practice, that arises in dependence upon the state of mind that you have. And then also being free from the state where your mind is so full of your own self-importance and pride so much puffed up pride and arrogance that you can never come to the point of experiencing the state, well, look, I really don't know, I really don't understand. You become a victim of your own success in the society. So you never learn anything new outside your narrow scope of understanding. So somehow we have a human life, and the evolution of this life has been such that there is enough humility there that we come to the point, look, I really don't understand, I really don't know, and I need guidance. And then on the other side of having the good fortune of having the endowments, we're blessed with very fortunate circumstances which are conducive for us to be able to practice the Dharma. And these are, of course, to be born human, to have the kind of mind, the intelligence that can understand Dharma, that can create an image in the mind about what we can become. And then also to have some degree of faith, some degree of conviction in the spiritual path, in these teachings. In the fact that there are consequences for our actions, we can create the causes for happiness and abandon the causes for suffering. We have faith in this, faith in the law of cause and effect and karma. Faith in the spiritual tradition of Buddhism. And some degree of faith about existence after this life and the possibility of being able to, in the future life, to transform our mind and attain the state of enlightenment. And so this means we are blessed with the great fortune of having meaning in the life, understanding there is a meaning of life, and especially the meaning of attaining the state of enlightenment in order to remove others from suffering. So this also means that whatever occurs in our life, whatever difficulty, whatever suffering, whatever injustice, because we have that sort of conviction in the value of this life and the purpose of life is to benefit others, every single misfortune is seen as an opportunity for inner transformation. So when you look at so many people in this world, even though they may have many things going for them, but they have no real meaning, no sense of meaning. So even though we read about this many times, they have fame, power, money, friends even, but they end up taking their own life because they don't have a meaning. Because if you really had a meaning in terms of using this life to be of benefit to others, you would not take your own life, unless it was for altruistic reasons. And then also we have the great fortune, remarkable how it is, that we understand karma, that this isn't an accident. We've made connection with this center here. And the stream of wisdom and compassion that comes to us in the form of these teachings, Bodhisattva's way of life. And the conditions have come together, of course, for all the various factors of this center, the physical basis here. And for us to have good fortune, to have, as a teacher, Geshe Sotram and Yaki as translator, all the work that went in to bringing them here to the center. And then with this, we also have the good fortune, our life situation in this country, and the standard of living and lack of violence and so on, gives us the freedom to be able to come here. And so this human life is that we have now with the various freedoms and endowments did not occur accidentally. It came about as a result of causes. So we can say the being who was associated with our mind stream in the past had to create the causes for us to have this human life now. And as they say, it's come about as a result of engaging in pure morality. And then generosity, and we could say accompanied by all the other perfections as well, the companions, these other perfections. And then pure, stainless prayer. So someone has worked very hard in our continuum in the past to attain us this state now. So therefore it would be a great shame if we weren't to make use of a fortunate situation. And even more so if we think about it, that if we understand karma, that those causes we created in the past, the ethical conduct we couldn't have created without other beings, that we made a decision based on not hurting others, that we created ethics. We performed ethical conduct also on the basis of performing virtuous deeds, again, very much in relation to others. And then ethics of benefiting others. So all this came about on the basis of the kindness of others. So then how do we make use of this life, given that the conditions have come together? We have this fortunate situation now. Best way, as I said, to extract the essence, the best way is to extract the essence, is to cultivate the mind of bodhicitta and the wisdom understanding the nature of reality. And then, as it says in the text, thus I should hold my mind as utterly unshakable as Mount Meru. So this means is that, Mount Meru is this, in that depiction, the center of the universe, even to imagine it as a very stable, strong mountain with a very firm base, just like you can even in your mind imagine it, some object with a very powerful, very strong, stable base. It's unshakable. So that understanding here is to develop the stability of the mind that holds as much as we possibly can. But this is what's important, to develop the mind of wisdom and the mind of bodhicitta. So this is best way, because so often in our life there's going to be things happening to us, difficulties occurring to us, things that will tempt us away from the path, injustices at the hands of others, all of which affect the mind and draw us away from the Dharma. So it's important here, we have the human life, created the causes for it. It's extremely valuable and rare. And so we should remain stable in that conviction that the purpose of our life is to cultivate the mind of wisdom and compassion developed to its fullest degree, bodhicitta. And so therefore, to dedicate whatever positive results from doing this meditation, to try to develop a semblance of that mind, so that we can best appreciate the teachings today and discussion groups and tutorials in order to accomplish our purpose of life, and that is to attain the state of enlightenment in order to remove all beings from suffering. Okay, so thank you.